In today's video, we will be explaining in depth about the first time student setting using the online portal, how to set up a new institute, how to set up new students, how to manage years and classes. So to give a basic idea, these are the topics we will be covering in today's session. So to jump right into it, was an administrator have to log in into the home portal using their username and password. So once we enter in the username and password, it will be automatically uh, take us to the home page. The home page consists of different icons. As you can see, the one which we initially use is to set up an institution name or the institutional details. So if we go under settings and click on general settings, this will enable us to create a university or college profile. So we can give the college name or the school name, the address, the phone number, the email address, the website details, all the start day of the week, time zone, the currency symbol. So all the information related to the institution is created here. So we can see the um, auto increment of student admission number. So student admission numbers are created or generated automatically. We can see we can click on all the options which we initially need. We can see the roll numbers are enabled for students. We can auto log out. We can see different settings under the general settings. So this is basically we're creating a university or institute profile. So once we click on all the details we need, and once we update it, the university profile will be then saved. So that is basically how to create a university profile. So the next basic thing is to create an academic year. So if you go under settings into academic years, we can see all the academic years present in that institute. It might be inactive academic years or the active academic years. We can edit or change academic years. We can create new academic years. So once 2021 is passed on and we want to create a new academic year, we can create it using this particular icon. So we can use the start date, end date. We can name the academic year, and that will be present up here. So that is basically how we create or manage an academic year. So once we create an academic year, one very useful information we can create for ourselves is something called as custom mode. So custom mode is basically to understand the course or the batches or the subjects. So we associate custom boards with different countries or different derivatives. So in England, we use years and classes to identify the courses and the batches. So the subjects are what subjects are involved in that batches of the course. So we can create these custom boards in order to better identify the structure of the institute. And so once we use this custom board and once we save these information, so it appear in the entire portal. So we use custom boards in order to identify such details. So once the custom board is assigned, we can then go into creating or managing the year or class, or in another word, the courses or the classes. So we are representing, so if you click on manage year, we have multiple options to basically create, edit different classes. So in this, so year one is the name of the course. So in that particular year one course, we can see different classes present in here. So classes might be represented based on, say, class one, class 2, class 3, for example. So in here, it's represented as year 1, the batch of 1920, and the name of the class is class rabbit. So we can edit, we can add new classes into this particular year group, or we can delete any classes which is no longer available. So all these processes are created using these multiple tabs. So we can create a group batches as well, group of batches of classes. So all these informations can be created here. So these are all the active years present in here. So we can edit or delete based on the need of the institute, and we can create new years or new courses accordingly. So that is how we manage years and class for a particular institute. So once we create necessary years and class, next sensible thing to do is to manage or create student categories. So this is a unique icon basically in order to identify a student based on categories. So categories can be, for example, staff child. So staff child is a category we can create in order to identify all the a daughter or a son of a particular staff present in that institute. We can create new categories and add students into that particular categories in order to make more sense of the data. So once we create categories, well, once we organize all these details, all the students will be coming under this particular category. So if you want to delete, we can delete any categories that are no longer required. We can edit the name of the categories. We can create new categories using this particular icon. So we have created years and class. Now we have created a student category, and the next important thing to do is to create or manage the subject that is taught. So subject associated with different years. So if you click on year 1, and if we can see all the classes present in that particular year group. So we are taking the class called year 1 1920 class of rabbit. So when we click on it, we can see all the associative subjects with respect to that particular class or year groups. Some years or some years have different classes, and all the classes might have the same subjects. So if we click on the subject center, it will enable us to manage subject group, create new elective groups, manage skill set, link classes together. So for example, if we click on year subject, if we select the year 1, we can see all the available subject taught in that particular year group. We can add subjects. You can give the subject name. We can give a particular code to identify it. We can set up how many weekly classes are available. If it's an activity-based subject, if there is an exam available or not, in order to evaluate it. Is it excluded from the total score? So once we give in all the information, and once we click on the create subject, this particular subject will be added in here. So we can edit or delete the subject if it's no longer being taught. We can create new subjects and elective. We can even import subjects into different classes. So if we click on import subjects, and if this particular year and all the associated subjects are taught in all the classes, we can import it accordingly. So there are different functionalities available here. We can create subjects or import subjects accordingly. We can even manage skill sets of a particular subjects. For example, English skills, or is shown as here as an example, is the English skills. If we create a skill set, we can create the skill set required for that particular subjects. For it might be, for example, for English, it might be like a reading skills. So we can create the name of the skill, how we calculate the score, if we calculate the score, or if we don't calculate the score, and then once we create it, it will be appeared under the list. We can view the list, and we can see, we can formulate it, we can subdivide it. So if I'm creating a skill set named reading, so how am I gonna evaluate reading is based on pronunciation, comprehension, and fluency. So this is basically gives an idea of someone who's using how to evaluate a particular subject based on the skill sets associated with it. So we can create skill set in such a manner. We can even link classes with respect to the EO. So we can see all the classes associated with it. We can assign or non-assign, or allocate classes or not allocate classes into that particular year. So this will enable the administrative to assign classes. So these Max is assigned to class Rapid and class Stroke. It's not assigned to the year 1, 2021, 22 colon 1. So if we assign it, if you click on assign, the Max will be assigned to this particular class as well. So that is basically how we manage subjects. So once we manage subjects, so by now we have a basic structure of how we manage everything. We have years and we have classes, we have student categories, we have subjects, we have skill sets associated with the subjects. So we have a basic structure of how everything works. And other details we need, which can be pretty helpful during admission, is add admission additional details. So these are the details, additional details, like the name mentioned, we create in order to during the process of admission. So for example, any kind of allergies the student have, we will create a additional text box, and we will collect all the information with respect to the allergies that particular student have. We can make it mandatory or not, and we can inactivate or delete it anytime we need. So we were collecting all the information, additional information we required based on the institute or school's requirement. We are creating different active fields, and we are collecting informations of the students. So this can be done under the additional details settings of the students. So once everything is done, we have to go into administrator settings and manage student roll number. So roll number is basically is a unique number we use in order to identify a student. So if we click on the manage roll number, we can see all the available years taught in that particular available courses in that particular institute. We can view classes. So for example, year 1, we are using the class view class option. We can see all the classes associated with that year. We can edit roll numbers. So if we click on edit roll numbers, we can see all the students present in that particular course. We can give the prefix of roll numbers. So we can give, every roll number will be starting with 2 as a prefix, and we can edit the roll number according. We can arrange students and edit the roll number. We can assign individual roll number to students. So admission number is a unique number created during the admission process, which is different from the roll number. So roll number might be different based on the class, the year groups, everything. So that is how we assign a roll number based on student. We can create prefix as well in here. So once everything is created, the final step so we have created the manage years class. We have manage student categories. We have managed subjects. We have add admission details. We have manage student unique number. We can also create something called as student document categories. So student document categories is basically, if we go under settings, and you can see manage student category. It's basically like I previously mentioned, is categorizing students based on different categories we create. It might be like staff child or class leader. We can add all that details into the in order to identify a student like that. So that is student document categories. So feature access settings is an important feature of the homepage. So this allow administrator, if you go into the settings and if you click on the feature access settings, this will allow administrator, like it mentioned here, you can configure the list of features that a parent or guardian of the institution can have access to. So this will give the administrator privilege to give access to the parent or guardian. So there are things that a parent or guardian will not have access to. For example, the assignments or the tasks the student is doing, but they might have access to the galleries to see what's happening in the institute, the student documents, to see what and all information is being collected based regarding to that particular student. So all these access can be granted in this particular scenario. So that is feature access settings. So once the feature access is given by the administrator, the next process is student admission in system and student login details. So we are basically going into the system, and if we go under so once everything is created, the next thing we do is basically to add students. So we have created everything we need in order to work institute. We have created the year, we have created the subjects, we have created the classes. Now we have to start the admission process. So in this particular video, we will be showing how we do the direct admission using the portal, what and all student details we collect. But we are not going to be talking about online registration inquiry or bulk import. That will be in a separate video. So we will be talking in depth about that in a later video. So in here, the direct admission is basically done. So if you go under students and student admission, we can see the student admission details in here. So basically an automated admission number is generated by the portal. We can set up the admission date, the date in which the student take the admission. We can collect the personal details of the student, such as first name, middle name, last name, date of birth, all the important information we need required to that particular student. So we can assign the student into different year groups, classes associated with that year groups, and we can assign the roll number as well during the time of admission. So once we created all this information, we can save and proceed. So this will automatically So this is a select groups we have created, so we can collect all the information regarding the student. If it have a sibling in that particular institute, we can we can select that particular student. If not, it's okay, we can skip it as well. We can collect the parent guardian details, the guardian's last name, um, um, the religion or relation of the student or the guardian with respect to the student. So all these details can be collected here. So once we finish it, we will be creating a we're just collecting all the additional information with regards to the student, the previous educational details. We can add in all the details here. Total marks the student get in the previous institution's name, and any kind of allergies they have. If they have it, all additional information we created can be collected up here. And this will enable the student. And this is the student profile we create. So the student profile will basically give all the details of the student. We can take a PDF report, we can edit the student details. So all the student details can be present in this particular. If you go under student and student info, we can search the name of the student and all the information will be coming up under here. So that is how we create a student profile. That's how we admit a student in a particular year group in the class as well.